Sunday's race saw a major crash after the safety car restart, as many of the cars running at the back started racing before race leader at the time, Valtteri Bottas, had set off. There was some suggestions that Bottas hadn't kept a constant pace before accelerating too late, which is what caused the crash. Bottas has now given his side of the story. I'm your host, Dillon Shelley, and first up on Formula World, Bottas claims no responsibility for crash. Bottas began by replying to those drivers who felt that he was at fault. "I'm not at all to blame for that. Everyone can look at everything they want, but I was doing consistent speed until I went. Yes, I went late, but we start racing from the control line, not before that. So the guys behind who crashed because of that, they can look in the mirror. There's no point whining about it." He then pointed out the one change this year that has affected race restarts, despite the actual rule governing it remaining unchanged for a long time. We're allowed to race from the control line, and that rule has been there for a while, I think. The difference this year is the safety car. They're putting the lights off quite late, so you can only build the gap pretty late on. So of course, when you're in the lead, you try to maximise your chances. He further elaborated on how this has affected the strategy for the race leader and questioned the effect it has on safety. "I don't know who decided what happens with the safety cars, but they're trying to make the show better by turning the lights off later, so you can't build a gap early and then go like a corner before the race start. Maybe it's time to think if that's right and safe to do so." Fast feed. F1's managing director Ross Brawn thinks that Vettel's experience will be invaluable at Aston Martin. However, he also feels that it is now putting the team on a different level and the results will need to start matching Lawrence Stroll's ambition. He also pointed out that Perez now finds himself on the move after a very long period with this team. He must have very mixed emotions. He then added that Perez is a very fast racer who is driving at his peak right now and deserves a place on next year's grid. Hopefully he can find the right opportunity and start a new adventure. Former F1 driver Alexander Wurz is of the opinion that if Red Bull's Max Verstappen succeeds, he can overtake Lewis Hamilton and Michael Schumacher in the record books. He has what it takes. FIA President Jean Todt thinks that while surprises are the essence of the sport, it doesn't work if you make it artificially exciting. He also revealed that he will vote against a reverse grid race, but if the majority is in favour, he will accept it. Sebastian Vettel added to that by saying if you are pushing in that direction, it's a testimony that you failed to come up with regulations and tools that bring the field more together and make racing better on the track. Former F1 driver Jolyon Palmer considers Valtteri Bottas a fast driver who really gets the best out of himself and Lewis on Saturday, but on Sunday he's still behind his teammate. He also questioned why the safety car lights went out so much later than when they all got the message that the car was coming in. He further feels that further back there were drivers who were either very opportunistic or asleep at the restart, leaving big gaps, or both, and that is ultimately what caused the crash. Defending world champion Lewis Hamilton considers Mugello a fantastic circuit and doesn't think it was too dangerous. He further elaborated that it's more old school with the runoff areas in the gravel and hopes they don't change that. Alfa Romeo's Kimi Räikkönen thinks that with all the issues that they had, it was far from the smoothest race of all, but they still got some points, so they'll have to take that and move forwards. Haas driver Romain Grosjean revealed that he had about 2 seconds per lap's worth of damage on the car, but they tried as hard as they could and that's something that no one can take away from them. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner thinks that this podium for Alex Albon will just give him a boost of confidence and self-belief, and he feels that he really will build from here quite nicely. Former F1 driver turned commentator Martin Brundle added to that by saying that this was a pivotal moment in his career which he will hopefully clear the mental logjam and allow him to deliver his potential for the remainder of the season. And the race at Mugello also reminded Brundle of a few decades ago with edgy high-speed corners, gravel traps awaiting the wayward, and a low number of finishes. Was Bottas in any way at fault for the crash at the restart? Head over to my community page to vote in the poll and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe and check out my others for all the latest in the world of Formula 1.